Hello, I'm Deanne, and welcome to Power English for Foreign Execs. This channel is for business people who are working in US companies or are rising stars who want to work in US companies from abroad, either in their home country or in the United States where I am. And they are seeking to perfect or improve their English language skills to the extent that they can become more successful or enhance their current skills to be more successful in working with US companies. And that's where I come in. So what is Power English? Power English, the way I define it, is the effective use of English words and phrases or idioms and understanding cultural nuance and becoming culturally aware of American culture to make sure that you can be able to navigate well within the US workplace with this knowledge. And this is where I come in because I want to help you and see you succeed in this area. So today, before I do that, let me just say I hope that you had a great Valentine's Day. Today's Sunday. We're celebrating President's Day, so there'll be all the sales and well, there'll just be a lot of sales. I think it started even a couple of weeks ago, and it will continue for this week. All sales um, for President's Day. But anyway, today I wanted to talk with you about expressions that would relate to the technical industry. Now, those that I give you are just that. They are expressions, and you can use them in any setting. But what I like to do sometimes is to group, excuse me, is to group expressions within industries that I think that would be easy for you to relate to, but you can always interchange them as you go about your daily work because you can use them in this industry, and you can also relate them also to other industries. So take it in that vein. Today, I wanted to talk about 10 of them. So let me just run through them. They will be things like on the same page. By the way, I'm looking at my notes because I want to make sure I don't forget anything. On the same page, on the same wavelength, back to the drawing board. Some of these you may already know, but are you using them? Back to square one, rebooting. Let me see. What's the other one? Debugging, bite the bullet, and bite the bullet. Bite-sized, and think outside the box. So the first one is on the same page. On the same page, number 1 and 2, on the same page and on the same wavelength is to describe being in agreement. Hold on. Is to describe being in agreement with someone about about a particular topic or discussion or situation. Or you could also say, we're on the same wavelength, we're on the same page, and also we are in sync, SYNC, short for synchrony, synchronization. It just simply means that we are in harmony, or we are not in sync. We're not on the same wavelength. It can go either way. But these are just another options. These are options that you can use instead of just saying, yeah, we're in agreement, we're not in agreement. We're on the same wavelength. No, I don't think that our client and we are on the same level, on the same wavelength yet, but we're working towards that because we want to keep the client, because we want to make the project successful. We do have some disagreements, or we have been on the same wavelength from the beginning of the project until now. Okay. So the third one, back to the drawing board. Well, when you look at it, numbers 3, back to the drawing board, back to square one. Sounds familiar. When you have endured a difficult, a challenging, I don't like to say difficult, but when you have endured a challenging situation and the situation or circumstances failed, you have to start again. So we have to go back to the beginning. I think drawing board may have come from an architectural origin, back to square one, or you've heard the word reboot in computer technology, but now this is a term now that you can use outside of that technology and just say, we have to start again, we have to reboot, meaning that the project was not going well or it didn't go well at all. So now we have to scratch or delete the project and start again. So you can use the word reboot in technology, and you can also use it outside of that environment. And you can also use it, I guess, in social settings too. But here we're talking about business anyway, so we're just going to stick to that environment. And then, of course, well, let me go down to the next one. Before I do, if you like this kind of information, let me know. I invite you to subscribe and then to hit the notification button when other videos come up that I put out, and also to comment on these. I really like the idea that back to the drawing board, back to square one, and reboot, you cluster them and be able to use them interchangeably in your conversation. And never forget that idioms or expressions are simply that. You cannot take one word out of an expression and then say, well, it means this in standard English, because then it'll be very confusing for you. You have to take the expression as a whole unit, back to square one. You cannot take individually the words out and then define them in standard English. You have to take the whole thing, back to square one, back to the drawing board. So if you like what you hear, let me know, because I would like to be able to tailor many of these episodes to the things that you find interesting or challenging to understand. I would like to be able to address them. I may not know the answers to everything, but I certainly will find out on your behalf. And I also do executive career coaching too, should you ever want one-on-one assistance in your career and moving up, or to get help in making a presentation, or to get some help in interview techniques or resume writing, or to, if you find some challenges in working with colleagues, I would be interested in hearing more about that. And if you would like to talk with me, there's information as to how to contact me in the description box below. Let me go on to the next one. Debugging. Debugging. That's a technical term. refers to the process of identifying and fixing errors or bugs in computer software. But you can also use debugging as a term outside of that definition to talk about troubleshooting or problem solving. So you may have some challenges within a particular situation or particular project. So you may want to say, we have to find ways to debug the challenges in this project. And that may have nothing to do with technology. So you can use them in or out of the technological sphere. All right. Now, the next one is bite, B-I-T-E, bite the bullet. Use that as a whole phrase, bite the bullet. And it is to bravely face a difficult or unpleasant situation, especially when there's no alternative. So you may have to bite the bullet in terms of the fiscal or the financial parts of a project, and you may have to say, well, we have to bite the bullet on the expenses that we are incurring in this project. So we have to cut back. We have to reduce the amount of monies we're spending, or we have to cut back or bite the bullet on the numbers of hirings that we are doing this fiscal year. We have to bite the bullet and have less people, or just bite the bullet on inventory, bite the bullet on vendors. The number of vendors that we have to cut back on that. And the other bite the bullet, it's B-Y-T-E. Bite the bullet, of course, has to do with it's just a play or a pun that you can use in the technical industry for the same meaning. They bite the bullet, and B-Y-T-E and B-I-T, they mean the same thing. And by the way, bite the bullet, I think, came from had its origins in uh, Western history, when at the time when there was no anesthesia for pain. So when someone had to have you know uh, medical procedures performed on them, they had whiskey and they had a bullet to bite on to endure the pain. So they get knocked out with the whiskey, hopefully, and then further to bite on the bullet when the procedure was being done to them. So they're biting the bullet to make sure that they can endure or accept a difficult situation or task. And then bite size, that's another play on words. B-I-T-E, bite size is something very small. And bite, B-Y-T-E, bite size, has to do with small bits of information, but it could be humorous to say something is B-Y-T-E, bite size. It's just little information. It's bite-sized information, not totally enormous information. And then think outside the box is really and simply to think creatively, because that's how innovation moves a project forward. It moves an industry forward by thinking outside the box. And of names of people who are great innovators who have thought outside the box. Do you remember in primary school, well, not so much elementary school, but primary school, when you're learning to color, and the teacher, would give you paint or crayons to use, and they'd always say, when you are going to use the color, use it in your coloring book, remember to paint, don't paint outside the lines, paint inside the lines. And now to be an innovator, you have to think of painting outside the box, you know. So think of it as in the box, maybe traditional ways of thinking, traditional ways of doing things. But as you think outside the box, or a circle or a square or a hexagon or whatever, but box is just box, the word BOX that we use is simply to be able to be an innovator and to think creatively. And it's an expression that we use a lot in social personal settings and also in business. You've got to think outside the box if you are looking for the next big project or service that you do. You have to think outside the box when you are looking for the type of vacation that you want to have. You want to have a very exotic vacation, something that is totally non-traditional. You have to think outside the box. So that are that is the definition that I have for think outside the box. So we have looked at 10 of them very, very quickly. And certainly just know that in the English language there, and I would not hesitate to say there may be over 1 million expressions that people use locally, regionally, and nationally. So in different parts of the country, there may be regional expressions, but I'm giving you national ones to use, depending on, where you live, where you work, where you relate or have relationships with others, with family. But these are national national kinds of expressions to use. So I hope that this was very helpful to you. And as I've said in other